it didn't.
Like,
I say,
I want someone to dream in the multiverse and go, "Ooh, Jeremiah."
I want to have that feeling like, I think I saw this. Am I in the multi-universe?
can you imagine?
Is this who I am? I'm on Earth 616 or 612.
Can you imagine another universe?
why do they all have to have the same
with all of us doing
repeated?
this, the same?
Well, they resonate at different frequencies, bro. Sorry, Ed. Go ahead.
Can you just imagine another
like an
universe
FM
doing
radio.
this? Brandon, I'm talking. Another universe like Earth 0.555555, and they're doing this right now. We're doing.
Yeah, well, they said in a multitude of universes we do exactly the same thing all the moments.
But everyone's naked in that universe because that's
Or
supposed to be
paint,
naked in that universe.
you know. Welcome
What the
to
hell was that
another
paint?
special theatrical episode of 3.5 Gentlemen, the podcast, where 3 of the 4 hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis of movies from our private collections, while one of us tries desperately to keep up. I'll let you decide which host is which, but for now,
Sounds so
my name
funny.
is Sean, and with me, as always, are my
good,
co-hosts, Jeremiah,
What up, yo? I love you in every universe, Hannah.
Eddie,
This is Eddie from Earth Sits.
Brandon.
I'm sure that there is a universe out there where I enjoyed this movie,
What are you talking about?
but I'm not sure.
It's your part of the script, bro.
Oh, I this is the first time seeing this, so
Jeremiah just
You
freaked
start with
out.
this season.
Jeremiah just freaked out.
We go with this season,
yeah.
and then we've
Damn it,
decided.
I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. Give me 1 second.
All right, so this season we decided that each host will pick a film of each decade from the 70s to today that amplifies the time period. Some of the films will be underrated, some classics, while others will be overrated with piles of cinematic crap. To finish off each decade, the host will have a group pick that wraps up the decade in style. But tonight we'll be talking... we'll be taking a break from that format and bringing you a new release.
Because you're a fucking drunk.
I'm hearing myself, and it's so weird.
As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question. How many drinks does it take to get through the film we just watched? At the end of the podcast, we'll rate the film or rate the movie based on a scale of 0 to 5. 0 being the perfect film that you can watch stone cold sober, or 5 being the sort of the film that makes you want to break through layers of multiverse and destroy the fabric of space and time. Evil.
With that, what movie do we have bewitching its way into our review this evening, Brandon?
Oh, bewitching.
See what I did
Well,
there?
tonight we have-
because she's a witch.
I do, Scarlett. Tonight we have 2022's latest entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. This is the second entry in the franchise and follows the plight of America Chavez, a child superhero gifted with the ability to travel the multiverse that she can't control. She is pursued across space, time, and alternate dimensions by the Scarlet Witch. Well, you just spoiled that. Jesus Christ, man. When she lands in the universe where our Doctor Strange holds court, he embarks on a quest to protect her and defeat the now evil Scarlet Witch. This multiversal masterpiece, says some, is rated a 7.5 on IMDb with a critic score of 75% and an audience score of 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Rachel McAdams, and Benedict Wong. And I just want to ask, what are the odds that we'd have two people with the name Benedict in a movie together?
Like .0.
You know what?
0.
One in a Benedict is the answer.
I'm going to give Sean some props here. Because if you go to IMDb, the plot summary, this is what it is. It's so fucking out of place. Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell that opens the doorway to the multi-universe, including alternate versions of himself whose threat of humanity is too great of the combined forces of Strange, Wong, or Wanda Maximoff. It's like, it's completely not what happened.
Right. Because it was
Maybe
written,
that's the movie
it was
that
written
should have
before
been.
anyone watched it.
That's the movie we should have seen.
Eduardo, take us through first impressions.
Yeah, can we put Eddie on this? I'm looking at that. I'm looking for
sorry.
an Eduardo here.
Sorry.
Like, Eduardo, it's your turn.
That's
now.
my bad.
You're
That's my
always
bad.
Eduardo.
Before we get into our review, we need to first talk about whose film this is, and moreover, what our initial impression of this film were before sitting down to watch it. Since this is a theatrical release, we will consider a group pick Brandon, why don't we start with you? It's the first time reading
we
this
start
shit.
with me. Okay. So I want to make it abundantly clear that with Spider-Man No Way Home, Marvel Universe gained a really excited member of
A true believer.
a viewer. I was just so freaking psyched out of my mind. I said, I'm going to start the whole universe at the beginning and watch it all and enjoy it all, because I thought that No Way Home was easily one of the best movies I've seen forever. And in one movie, they made me remember why my initial response was MCU sucks.
You cannot take
I will
one
still
movie
give it-
as the gospel of anything.
No. But it's this
That's
way.
like
It's
just
literally
seeing The
it's-
Phantom Menace or just seeing Attack of the Clones and judging
That's
all
true.
Star Wars
No,
by
that's
that.
true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, like, literally, that was like climbing Everest in one day, and then next thing I know is I'm literally face planting in Death Valley.
So you need to
that's how I felt.
possibly
So
see Doctor
anyway,
Strange
I'm
1.
I'm excited to talk about this and find out what the hell I missed completely. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Let's go, Jeremiah. I want to hear Jeremiah's thoughts.
So we were all excited, right? Because of No Way Home. It was like, okay, this is the next phase of the Marvel Universe. I mean, they set the bar high and everything like that. And I was pretty excited because this was Sam Raimi's first movie in the MCU, which is pretty awesome. And, he's the one who actually put the whole new next level of comic books with Spider-Man trilogy. And plus, horror fans, he's the godfather of horror. The Evil Dead trilogy is one of the best things ever. And so I was like, fuck yeah.
Also,
like,
Spider-Man.
I said that.
No, okay, yeah.
Literally did.
I literally just said that.
Okay.
But no, I was pretty excited about
Eddie,
it. So
fix your headphones, bro.
Was he also part of the Grudge too? Oh,
Yeah.
He was. Jesus.
So
Go.
I was really excited to go see it. I thought people were putting a lot of pressure on it after No Way Home. You're not going to hit 2 home runs and back to back unless it's Civil War and what was that?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier and Civil War?
And Civil War. But I was excited to see it. I thought people were putting a lot of pressure on it, which I knew was never going to really come true. But was really excited to see the cameos. That's what I was really hyped for. There was rumor about like Deadpool and X-Men.
Everybody.
So Eddie,
Yeah. So, has anyone read the comic books?
no.
Of Doctor Strange?
I have an idea.
Oh, you have an idea. So this actually opened. It's following a lot of the line to opening up a lot of other stories. And so I was talking to my coworker, and he watched this movie too, and he kind of broadened my horizons of like, this is the gateway of actual the Nets phase 4. So he said in the long run, this could possibly be like one of those movies that we overlooked, but just we just it's one of those movies. I know, Sean, you watched it twice. One time, the last time with me.
That's commitment, dude.
Thank you.
Well, I
But
promised.
really, I think
told
you
them
need-
I would.
I think you-
Not only that, it was at 9:45 at night, and me at 9:45 is not something you should see.
So I do know there's
gets
a lot
angry.
going on in this. I really was looking forward to. I'm an Elizabeth Olsen fan.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, like, who's not a fan of her? And then also Benedict, the Cumberbatch one. Not the
Not Juan. I know.
I like Juan too. I like Juan, but like I do know that this is like opening up. I knew that a little bit more of the comic book I was kind of studying, and it's weird, really weird. I never knew about
America Chavez.
American Chavez, so that's the first time hearing her. But I guess there's a lot with her in comic book land.
Let's start
So
the
I'm
review
excited.
right
I'm
now.
excited. I was
we
excited
can-
for this movie.
We can just naturally kind of go
Yeah.
into it because we don't have a drink tonight because this is a theatrical release.
Yeah.
So we didn't do it. Don't want to drink it.
My drink is a whiskey.
I had a shitload of
Whiskey
M&Ms, though. That's the way that I got through this one.
Of course. So here's the first thing I want to kind of map out is that Phase 4 generally of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been a little messy. And me and Jeremiah were talking about this
Yeah.
earlier, and we're going to talk about whether it's intentional or whether it's not. Because one of the lenses I look at this through is Avengers 2: Age of Ultron, which was not that great of a movie, but it set up so many storylines and so many offsets. And I remember Vision coming onto the screen for the first time thinking, what the freaking hell? They're ruining this. And so I'm wondering if through that lens, this movie gets a little different perspective.
I think everyone's kind of a little upset because for the past year and a half, we've been actually getting introduced about the next phase with like all the TV shows on Disney Plus. You have WandaVision, which was fantastic. Then you had Loki, and they're kind of really tiptoeing about the whole timeline. And then, you know, they did this whole Marvel's What Ifs. And I honestly think if you don't watch these things, they really help you get close to what you're going to be seeing in the theater. I mean, what do you guys think?
I would agree. Having watched all the shows kind of religiously, I hated WandaVision for the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then it ended up being my favorite show, and I actually got emotional at the end of that show.
Yeah.
And I guess the criticism I have is I wish they had picked up with the tone of that show, which was fantastic, and they kind of didn't. And they, to me, I mean, I'm just going to come out in front and say at the very beginning, I believe they ruined Elizabeth Olsen. Her character was fantastic. The Scarlet Witch had such potential with the integration of X-Men and the fact that Magneto is her father and all of these backstories. It's really cool. And to me, you just cut the legs out from under your universe.
And not to mention that it's not going to like take away from Elizabeth Olsen's like, you know, performance in the movie.
No, she was fantastic.
She was fucking amazing. And I've actually, she carried the film. I mean, what do you think, Ed?
She definitely carried the film, but I mean, you were talking about how she's done, and she's not done yet. You can spin it so many different ways.
Like I said, if the other movies come back and all of a sudden they're like, that proves this movie to be a gem in the rough, but for right now, it's hard.
She's not dead yet. Let me just tell you that.
Brandon, go ahead.
I know for sure that she's not dead yet.
Eddie,
so,
make sure you talk to the mic.
I'm here.
So you guys going to have to fill me
Sean.
in because I'm so in the dark here. So she was married to Vision, right?
I do think it's important.
How did he
see,
die?
Yeah, so I think it's first of all So spoiler, we should have said this at the beginning and we didn't. Spoiler
spoil
for
the shit
the
out of
whole MCU, right? So Vision has the Mind Stone in his head, and Thanos needs all the stones in order to become the ultimate villain.
One of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, so he ends up taking the Infinity Stone out of Vision's head, but before he did that, there was this scene where Vision realized that the only way that Thanos wouldn't be as strong as he could be is if the Scarlet Witch killed him, because the Scarlet Witch was the only one powerful enough to destroy the Mind Stone. So Scarlet Witch killed Vision. So literally went through the trauma of killing him. And then Thanos used the Time Stone, rewound history for like 3 minutes, and then went and killed Vision. So Vision actually died kind of twice in that movie. And that was in Endgame. No, that was in Infinity
Wars.
Infinity War.
So then they never had kids.
Well,
that's
and
completely
then
made
there
up
was
for this movie.
Well, no. So then there was a show, WandaVision, where she was she was in this town of Westport, and she basically took. Spoiler alert! If anyone hasn't seen WandaVision,
what? You never seen all these movies? These
I know.
TV shows?
So she's in a town of Westport that basically she has used her mind to convince like all 300 residents of this town that this is the way it was, the town is working, and that she's part of the community, and she's got these 2 kids, anyway, the show kind of shows her what life she would have had with Vision if not for the events of Infinity War. But then at the end, she kind of realized that she was fucking insane and gave up the town, and that's when she went to the quote-unquote cherry blossom place.
I appreciate that, because that literally helps a shitload.
I think it would help if you watch that show.
And truly, Jerry, you were saying kind of you need to know all of the background, I think, for a movie like this to catch on. Like for Spider-Man, I could just walk in, complete no knowledge about anything, and it makes sense, right? They do a nice little recap at the beginning of Spider-Man No Way Home, where with this one, I feel like there was no recap. There was no kind of, hey, this is some info that you need to know for newbies. And I don't think that they need to do that, because it is, a huge storyline, but at the same time, it definitely hurts.
So Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four need to jump in soon for this to balance out, because a lot of what she's talking about, it's just like the next chapter, and it's right now if this movie is just standing alone by itself, it's hard to, like you were saying,
it's a thread without a sweater.
Yeah.
It starts off, when you think about it with the movie, it just starts right off. it starts right into that whole kind of dimensional thing and everything like that, right? And it has like, you know,
dream. A dream with that Doctor Strange is having with Americano.
It was a dream, but technically it wasn't a dream.
A foreshadow of
it was
his other self trying to kill
But
Chavez.
It just starts off, and if you like, when you just start right off and everything like that, you're just like, oh shit! So we're gonna start the movie off this way. What's going on? Oh, there's a supreme Doctor Strange right there, and he's trying to save this girl and everything like that. It doesn't really give us an introduction, trying to get that, what do you call that thing? The Book of Vanishi or something like that? Because that's what
Ashanti, the Book of Ashanti.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the best part is that I went to the only movie theater in my area that apparently doesn't do previews, and I was 5 minutes late. And so I walked in, and I had to walk out over to the concession stand guy, and I'm like, hey, what theater am I supposed to be in? Because this looks like the end of the movie, because I'm like, he's battling this big, huge monster thing. And I literally had to text Sean up, and I'm like, Sean, dude, how does it begin? And he's like, oh, it starts right in the middle of this battle. So, yeah. It's an interesting way to do it. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say that I am not a Sam Raimi fan. I get why people look at him with respect, and I respect him. You know, I respect what he did with Evil Dead. I respect what he does, even with the original Spider-Mans, even though I think that he kind of camped those up just too much. But that's my problem with him, is that it becomes too campy. And I think that with the ability that they have for CGI and the amount of money that they put into this film, did you guys feel like the special effects and the graphics just were not where it should be? The acting, I think, was definitely on point. You guys are saying Elizabeth Olsen. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. They were great, but at the same time, the story, I feel, really suffered. But the visuals, I thought, were really tough, too.
Beginning of the film, when he actually like goes and saves that, you know, her, you know, America on the street, you know that some of the CGI, you're just like, fuck, that's kind of like, you know, shitty and whatnot, you know? But it felt like a B movie too at the same time, you know. We're going to that squid thing that you've seen, which actually introduced itself in one of the episodes of What Ifs of Captain Carter and everything like that. It was kind of campy. The CGI didn't work well. Don't get me wrong, the CGI later in the movie was fucking dope. It looked great. But just the beginning of the movie, it was just like, what the hell? But I also did like the whole like Sam Raimi touch when the eye came out and shit like that, because that's like so fucking Evil Dead. I was like, that was good. So that was just my point of view.
So I agree that the graphics weren't good, weren't great at the beginning of the movie, and they kind of got better. I think that's intentional, but that's just my opinion. I also think that they're trying to introduce you into a world that's different than any Marvel's been before. So all of a sudden there's a bunch of aliens and creatures, and you haven't really got that in Marvel. I mean, every villain, they're all like people. Right? I mean, is there any non-people? I mean, Thanos is the closest you can get, but he's still a big purple person.
You're talking about the future villains coming from here on are going to be like Thanos style.
I'm saying they're all going to be celestial. They're all going to be out there.
Yes, like Kane the Conqueror.
Well, yeah. Jeremiah has some theories.
I do have some theories of where this is going to go, actually.
I don't think John Krasinski is done.
No, I don't think so. I think
know.
Fantastic Four is actually going to be a very big, you know, introduction. We're going to the next phase. And I think that what you're going to see here, I was going to like talk about it later on in this episode, but what you're going to see here is just like, you know, when you had all type of 3 different Spider-Mans in one film, this is going to do something where it's going to bring every single Marvel character from every different type of movie that you've seen before in the past into one movie, I believe.
Yes. Which
is going to be the next Avenger called Avengers Secret Wars.
So yeah, so if you look at it from that perspective, let's say you have a Reed Richards in a specific 918, whatever, and that's the story that they show you with the movie, and then down the line they'll show maybe America Chavez traveling through the multiverse to get those people to come with against the timeline or whatever. If you watch Loki, he who remains.
Exactly, yeah, and supposedly Dr. Doom will be like the main villain. He's the main villain.
I don't understand why they keep putting their money on fucking Dr. Doom. He hasn't worked in 3 goddamn movies. He doesn't fucking work.
He's actually the person that started the multiverse.
I don't care if he started the multiverse. The character of Dr. Doom in the metal thing doesn't work. Unless they find
badass,
better...
though.
Go ahead. Sorry, Brandon.
I was going to say, how badass, though, was it to see John Krasinski and freaking Professor X, which I'm not a Marvel fan, but when I saw Little X go speeder bike up there. I was pretty excited.
The theme, dude. Yeah.
And that was Peggy, right? From
Peggy Carter. That was Captain Carter.
She was
from
great.
What If?
She was great.
And then who was it? Monica Rambeau was, or was that who Captain
Marvel?
Marvel was?
That's the other girl.
That was the
Marvel.
other girl.
Yeah.
The other girl
in the movie Marvel.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch. I try to avoid that one like the plague.
I thought she was good in it actually.
The movie was just dog shit.
the new
Oh yeah,
Captain
she
Marvel.
was good.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. We're talking about.
But okay, so I never watched Inhumans. Did you watch that TV show?
I did.
Was it good?
Which one?
No, it was a train wreck. But
Inhumans?
But Black Bolt, the guy they had there with the fork in his mouth, he was really good.
The one that died with the...
Yeah,
Did he
like
say
30
anything?
seconds.
Dude, he
No,
the way
that's
he
the whole
died...
thing is he couldn't say anything.
The way that he died was
When
just
he
like...
blew himself up in his head, I mean, that was weird.
That's
but cool.
This movie should easily been rated R. Like after that
Oh,
scene,
I
it
don't
was
think
like,
kids should be watching this movie.
I had a chance to watch it with my kids, and
Serious?
I chose because I heard reviews. It's like it's scary. It's probably one of the scariest Marvel movies.
It's a horror film.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this should have been released during Halloween.
Just to let you know that Reed Richards is not the smart Reed Richards in this Illuminati. He literally tells the Scarlet Witch person, like, hey, by the way, you don't want him to talk.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, okay. Boom.
Yeah, that was funny.
To me, that whole scene. I mean, are we jumping around? Or might as well. We're here, right?
We've
We've
jumped
got
around.
the big Illuminati scene where you're introduced to all these wonderful characters. And just to be clear, the best one obviously is Professor X. And the fact that they killed him pisses me the fuck off.
Oh, I was so pissed off with that.
Pisses me off. I mean, you could have just left him in a mine prison or something. You don't kill Patrick Stewart for
He's
fuck's
not
sake.
really dead. They're gonna.
Well, there's
He was
9
walking
million.
around.
That universe is dead, but
in his mind.
Isn't he supposed to be the most powerful fucking like superhero mutant type of thing? How did
Exactly.
you die? I know Scarlet Witch is like powerful.
She's more powerful than Professor X.
Are you serious?
Well, think about this, okay? So if
really-
you look at the realm,
she is powerful in the comic books.
and if you look at the realm of it's like X-Men, right? So she's the spawn of Magneto.
Okay.
So if let's say Magneto mated with a person of power, assuming this is the first generation of powered people getting married and having kids. Well, hypothetically,
Like Magneto
They don't have
hooked
to
up
get
with
married.
Phoenix.
like
not saying
Magneto
you
hooked
have
up
to.
with Mystique,
Okay.
Yeah.
and they had
Quicksilver
and
Wanda.
The way he went out like that, it was just fucked up. Yeah.
'Cause
Power
that
royalty, I know.
that showed up in X-Men, right?
X-Men. I believe it was First Class or Days of Future
And
Past.
that was
one
Days
the
of
two.
Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
That was her. That was Elizabeth Olsen, right?
Right.
Yeah. So she's the original Wanda.
Wait, what?
Didn't she show up on the very end of the movie when?
No, that was Ultron or no,
Age of Ultron. Was it?
it was Thor 2. I want to say it was.
It was one of those weird ones. Yeah.
Yeah, where they showed them like locked up.
Yeah.
and then the first appearance was in Ultron.
Ultron.
Age of
Yeah.
Ultron.
So this is like
You
that
guys
was
are
probably like
literally
Earth
not making
626 or
me
something.
want to watch these
No, well,
movies.
she
Yeah,
does.
you
though.
should wanna watch
So
it.
Elizabeth Olsen
know.
did confirm that she is continuing to play Wanda, Scarlet Witch. So
Well, that's my big question: is she dead?
Doctor Doom's gonna find
Oh
Wanda.
no.
Call it.
Probably, yo.
God, can they?
So was
fix
she
Dr.
always a bad
Marvel?
character?
Fix Doctor Doom and make it. she's got villainous blood, right? So Magneto from the X-Men, played by Ian McKellen, the major villain, is her father.
Yeah.
So she's got villainous blood in her for sure.
Yeah, but not like demonic, man. I mean, shit, dude. And she was like carrying this
Well, she
fucking
was
movie, dude.
possessed by the Darkhold.
That's what I liked about this movie. It talked a little bit more about the dark side of the
Sorcerer.
the magicians,
What do they call the mystic arts?
mystic arts. Yes.
Hey, Brandon, are you into the Mystic Arts?
So because of that, Doctor
I mean,
Strange
if
does
it
have a
makes me
third
not
eye.
have to see this movie.
He has a third eye
sure.
in like the comic books, and this is how.
Yeah.
he got it.
Okay. Can we talk about that damn ending?
Wait, hold on. Which ending?
There's a lot of there's a lot of
Which
endings. Are you talking about Sinister?
I mean,
Doctor Strange?
Let's just have Charlize there and just show up and say, "Oh, let's start another movie franchise here."
She's a real
I'm saying the
character,
fact
though.
that he's got a freaking other eyeball, and he's like, "That's now a normal thing."
If you watched the original Doctor Strange, it kind of actually
Yeah.
foreshadowed it.
So
God, I
let's
hate
talk
this.
about America Chavez and her impact on the MCU, because I think that's going to be pretty major. So now you've got a character who can literally travel at will from universe to universe. That's pretty badass.
It's interesting. I just wish I knew more about the character. Like, it's just, I wanted more information.
She's got a star jacket.
She got a cool jacket, yeah, but it's just like background, what's going on, and how does she get to there? Where she was running, from. How does she meet, the Supreme Doctor Strange? Like, I just wanted questions about that. It literally starts you right, like, boom, let's go. I don't know about the actress or not. I could think of something else, but
she seems she's honestly, to me, she seemed too tentative. I don't know if you guys thought that too. Like, and I think that's her character for sure, but I do want her to be a little bit more assertive. Like when she kind of realizes that she's got all the power at the end and she kind of comes into her own. I didn't buy it. I just didn't.
No, I got you. Her transition was awful fast. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
I would have liked to see her done, at least one or two little stars at some point.
Cameos?
No, like pushing the multiverse apart at will, and not just like every time she gets scared. God forbid she sees a mouse.
Has she shown up before this movie?
No.
That was my opinion about this. Is like, I knew her through comic books, but it would have been cool to know that she's coming. Like, Marvel's really good at that with like Charlize Theron as Clea. Right. So with I can't be saying her name.
America Chavez.
We gotta save America.
I keep saying Americano, but American Chavez. Like, they should have introduced her in a different movie, a little bit like hey, Marvel's really good at that.
They did that with a lot. They did it with
so she was a surprise.
Adam.
And some
Right.
I bet a lot of people are like, who the hell is this girl? Like, people who don't follow comic books.
Theron in another?
No, not
Marvel
yet.
movie?
Charlize Theron hasn't been in anything. But I think one of the problems with
Okay.
this movie is it was filmed during COVID, and I think they were trying not to do that, not have whole new crews and new actors go interact with other movie sets. I do think that COVID did play a role in the interconnectivity between No Way Home and this movie. Like, they were all filmed right around COVID.
Can I ask you guys a question? Did you guys like the fact that, Wanda became the villain? Like, because in the trailers, you didn't expect that. You thought she was like working side to side with Doctor Strange, and all of a sudden,
Witch is the villain who took over Wanda.
Yeah, but did you expect Elizabeth Olsen to be like the main villain in the movie?
I did not.
Like, regarding to that, do you think that
I
hurts
ended
the
up
film?
liking it. I thought it was kind of
Yes.
a cool twist.
Why you say that, Brendan?
Well, I mean, as a complete newbie with no knowledge of this franchise, and I'm going off of WandaVision. I know it existed. I know that you guys watched it. I've heard kind of bits and snips and pieces of it. It just seemed like she was a decent character, a good character, and I guess it works for having her be bad to kind of do that like 180. You weren't expecting it, but to me, and this is what I hate when movies do this, is it just seems like a cheap transition, a cheap twist just to twist's sake,
The only reason I would disagree with you is because she started as a villain.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess I don't realize that. I didn't know that. I thought that she was part of the good guys and part of the Avenger side.
Right.
Well, Wanda is, but not Scarlet Witch. So that's the thing. There's always been this power, like, who's stronger between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. Like, realistically,
So who's Wanda? It's her Clark Kent.
Well, no, I mean, Wanda and the Scarlet Witch are the same person. It's just that Eddie's suggesting that because of the Darkhold, it takes over her and she becomes a Scarlet Witch, which is not untrue.
So how long has she been under the hold of the dark?
Since WandaVision.
Was it just this movie?
She was introduced into her history with Agatha Harkness.
Yeah.
I think which she's getting her own show. I'm very excited to see where this goes. The thing, Brandon, that you have to understand, anyone who's listening who has not really fully immersed themselves in the MCU, the question you have to ask yourself necessarily when rating it or when watching it, if you're plugged in, you're like, does it further the bigger story? Does it give you a fun little glimpse onto the character that's in the star of the movie? But if you're just coming at it and you don't know about the cohesive story, it's got to make sense and it's got to be entertaining. And so those, I think, are the two criteria that you've got to look at.
So let me ask you guys, though, since you guys are, I would say you guys are Marvel fans. You guys have been there through every single one of them. Sean, you've watched them all probably, 2 or 3 times.
Agreed, all of us.
Do you feel, and I know I might be jumping ahead, so we don't have to necessarily get here, but do you feel that this movie did a good job of continuing the story?
Go ahead.
I don't like how you had to watch WandaVision to understand this movie. if you didn't watch WandaVision, the show, like this movie, you probably could have been lost for the first, like beyond half of the movie, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
2 hours,
right? Why? I thought Wanda was a good guy, and now she's Scarlet Witch and she's bad. I don't like that, but knowing them as a Marvel fan, like I see everything where it's going. I see the outline of the next Phase 4, so I'm excited for it. I like this movie as a whole, but overall the movie, they had a whole bunch of questions that I didn't really
it's a thread without a coat. It's a thread without a coat. Because if you know what the coat looks like, and then you can enjoy the little thread, and you're like, so like I look at the grand cinematic universe of Star Wars, and then Rogue One. Rogue One, without New Hope, doesn't have the impact. People who haven't seen New Hope at the end of Rogue One are going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because they haven't seen New Hope.
Vader? Oh,
so
shit, hold on.
That's what I'm saying is if you see it as a whole and you come back to this movie and you're like, this was the architect of Phase 4. This was the architect of all the movies that came before it and after it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on this, because when I first saw it, I was just kind of like a little pissed off. Like, okay, you're fucking around about the, like, where are you going to go with this next phase? I was just like, Jesus, dude. Like, where are you going to get? Where does it have? Like, I really thought that there was going to be some type of an introduction of, like, what the next step was going to be, And you didn't get that, really, actually. You kind of got an idea of little, like, hints in there. So, to me, this is more of a conclusion of a story. It's not one of my favorites, but it could be that whole Blade Runner thing, from 10 years from now, where people were like, people didn't really understand it or appreciate it, but it might have that thing where, like, oh my God, people might think it's one of their favorite things in the world, I'll tell you this one. This is probably the most unique Marvel film out there.
And it's going to be that because it sets up this multiverse, like you guys are saying, because it can weave in all these different stories and characters who, I mean, I hear things from the outside. Like, I know that X-Men hasn't been part of the Marvel universe, and I know that Fantastic Four hasn't been part of this MCU universe. And so I see the potential storytelling wise. I just think that the product they sold here just didn't live up to, I guess, an entertaining standpoint for me.
Well, let's talk about the writing. Let's talk about the directing. What do you guys think of it?
Yeah.
So I thought the direction was uniquely Sam Raimi. It was kind of cut bait. It was schlock. It was, you had some shit lines with some shitty cinematography. And if you like Sam Raimi's style, then you like Sam Raimi. I happen to like Sam Raimi's style. I think it's fun and entertaining. I think, like you said, the poking out of the eyeball. There was a couple 10 different little Sam Raimi references.
Oh, like with the dead Doctor Strange?
I think that's...
I think the best introduction of
me,
like,
that was
what
such
Sam
Raimi
was when the possession's happening and it's actually going for the Wanda at the 838 universe and whatnot, but you see it as a point of view as a ghost, and that's exactly what happens in Evil Dead.
Oh,
the possession is going to take a hold of it, and it travels around and everything like that. And I was like, fuck, that's dope. I was pretty excited about that.
I thought, sorry. The cinematography when she had the possessions and kind of, and it really does, it's conducive to the Doctor Strange world because it's always twisting and turning and doing different things. But the cinematography, especially when she possessed her other self, I thought that was just brilliant. Seeing herself in the mirror or in the window reflection, it was kind of a cool situation.
So I was going to say, I guess you can say Wanda, Scarlet Witch of this Earth in the movie that Doctor Strange was fighting. She couldn't get over the fact that she just wasn't supposed to have the kids that she kept dreaming about wasn't her kids. So she was willing to kill a different Wanda in a different universe and become the mom. So I like how you see Wanda in other universes who are still pure. I mean, it was just the idea of like this should be bigger. This is opening up doors to bring Iron Man back and Captain America back in different forms.
See, and this is one of my biggest criticisms of kind of the movie is you had someone go kind of crazy, which she did, over kids that she didn't actually have, and she wanted them. So you're like 26, 27. Like, go have kids. Like, I don't understand. The whole plot of the movie is that she's so devastated by kids that she saw, that she made up in her mind.
It's not her mind. It's actually
or
kids in a different universe.
No, I understand she dreams about them. That she dreams about them. I am just saying that the two that she created in Westport in WandaVision, that's the kids that she's trying to get back, right? Mm-hmm. She created those in her mind.
Is it that she wants it because it's Vision's kids? Like, is that the reason that she's trying to get back her husband? Because I know she did.
That's her connection with
kind
Vision.
of make mention of the fact that she had to kill her husband. Which, I mean, I was trying to put 3 and 3 together, and you guys helped fill in the gaps. But do you think that that's what it is? It's not so much the kids as it is kind of this world that she lost.
I got news for you. I bet you Vision is actually alive in the 838 universe.
Other universes, he's alive. Yeah,
because you know that when they you see Thanos and he's dead and everything like that, you see kind of like, you know, the gauntlet of all the rings and whatnot. His ring, his Infinity Stone was not on that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's was explained actually in the Illuminati scene. I believe it was Professor X said, Thanos had gained 6 of the 7 stones, and we used the Book of Ashanti to save the world against him. So that proves that the Book of Ashanti is less powerful,
So can I ask you something? The incursion,
Dr. Doom.
So 838, the Earth, Doctor Strange. Did he cause something with the last Earth with the sinister Doctor Strange? Did that universe collide with that universe, or did the 616, our Doctor Strange that we have here, with the whole multiverse with Spider-Man, did that cause that whole universe to collide to that universe?
I think those questions will be answered in the next movie.
Yep.
I mean, if I'm going to just take a stab in the dark, my thought is that no, it has nothing to do with our Doctor Strange. It has everything to do with the crazy Doctor Strange, and that he was trying to do so much, and he affected the world, that he brought the ruin of the world on that one, that he brought the incursion on that. I don't think it had anything to do with our guy, except for the fact that he just stumbled into that world.
I think it's a little bit with our guy who cracked the window open to
with Spider-Man,
but I don't think he fully. It was okay, he's seen what he caught, possibly open up cracked the door open a little bit with. But I do agree with Brandon. It's the other Doctor Strange that actually caused the incursion, and there's gonna be there's more going into that. I know that for sure. I know Ant-Man's talking about Kang the Conqueror, and Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be time. He controls time, and then Doctor Doom is in there as well. So there's some big villains coming, but it's just, this movie I felt like they were stretching for a villain, so they just chose Wanda.
Yeah, I actually think they could have done something different here with a villain or something to introduce it. Like I said, Wanda's not the problem in this movie. Elizabeth Olsen is fucking amazing. I think she steals the movie and everything like that.
Doctor Strange was awesome too.
Doctor Strange was cool.
His character is cool, but it's you needed a better villain. I felt like.
Yeah, exactly. You need something bigger regarding to the introduction of the next thing, because
you had two Avengers fighting each other.
I think we're putting way too much pressure on Doctor Strange, which is by far not the best superhero. I mean, the character itself is hard to wrangle. He's actually really good when he's in someone else's movie, but I don't think he's as good when it's his own movie.
Did you like Doctor Strange 1?
I was okay.
I liked it. I thought it holds a lot of value if you go back and watch it and you see for the first phases.
There's a disconnect to the internet issue.
Here? With us or him?
Yeah, with us. Is something going on here? Mm-mm. Oops, you're disconnected due to internet issue.
Oh, yeah, internet just went down.
Okay, so it's hit okay?
I think we just lost it all?
Brandon, can you hear me?
No, it was 99%.
Okay, you can hear me. So it was internet on our end. It looked like something happened.
This whole thing again
with our end. It just a disconnect. Did we all go out at once?
Yeah, you guys all froze.
So let's do this
again. Which
again.
is good, because I think that what I was saying was actually not very good. So we can get rid of that.
You froze for us.
Oh no! Let's take a pause real fast, Brandon, and let Jeremy see if he can find those files.
I have it.
Oh, so we're fine.
We're fine.
It's never stopped recording on.
It never stopped recording.
So it never stopped recording on my end.
So what did they take? Both sides.
So if we're doing a Marvel Universe type of book or something like that, we can actually go back into this particular second for this 5 minutes, and we have a whole story. Oh shit!
An offshoot. A splinter.
Brandon,
A splinter in the timeline.
I can't see you, Brandon. Can
So
you
let me
guys
ask
see
you
Brandon?
something.
Well, Eddie,
What do you guys think when Scarlet Witch literally destroyed the fucking Illuminati because she fucked everyone up?
I was disappointed
just-
with the speed with which she dispatched literally all of my favorite characters, if not the people who played them. I mean, she killed Captain Carter with her own disc.
What if? You guys watch What If?
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, you watch What If? The show What If?
No.
You need to watch that. It's a cartoon show.
Brandon's like,
No,
I got
I don't
other
do
things to
Marvel.
do.
Watch it. At least let Soy
my
watch
God.
it. It's what if like somebody else did this, or what if somebody else was this person?
I mean, you're right, because
Yeah.
it literally is the closest thing about the whole multi-universe, and it really kind of shows a lot. Like the one with Doctor Strange, his episode, how he kind of destroyed the universe because
Right.
he was trying to make things right to be with Rachel McAdams, Christina, or whatever her name is.
Christina.
He was obsessed with her. Yeah.
I
But
do
what's
have-
so funny
I
is
have- I
that
haven't-
it mentioned it that's what the other Doctor Strange was trying to do to make things right, to be happy again.
Yeah. So I've got a question, and Sean, I know this is something you've said about the DC universe a lot, is that the bad guys are so bad that you can't really, or I guess the good guys, right? You have Superman. You have to find something that's stronger than Superman, and there's not really anything stronger than Superman. But I feel like when you have a bad character like Scarlet Witch that basically has the power of God in everything that she does, it just makes it not very exciting because there's not really a chance that anybody's going to stand up to her. I mean, eventually, yeah, we know that somebody's going to stand up to her and she's going to get beaten because she's the bad character and the good characters all win. At the same time, I feel like she was too strong, and I feel like kind of what you were saying, Sean, is that she dispatched that Illuminati in 3 minutes, and it wasn't very exciting. But I just feel like you can't have a character so strong in any kind of movie situation.
Yeah, I
thoughts?
mean, I think I absolutely agree. I've said it 1,000 times: is that the bigger the hero, the harder it is to get that hero villain. That's why Iron Man was such an effective movie, is because his villains could be kind of as smart as he, and that would, that was their big power. But when you have someone like Superman, like Brandon was saying, the villain has to be so powerful that it's almost like it doesn't work on the movie.
I agree, and that's just the what Marvel put themselves in this box of like, okay, well we have only so many villains we have to work with. We can't just have Joe Schmo. It would have been cool to possibly see Doctor Doom in this, somebody who
How many
has some
phases
powers,
are there intended?
or just somebody.
I don't know.
What was that?
How many phases are they going to do? Like, this is phase 4. How many phases?
Doesn't stop.
Well, they're going to run out of money at some point if they keep
Because you
making
have to-
turds like this.
I
They're gonna
think
run
this is
out
not
of
a
bad
turd.
characters, right?
This is that movie that you're
They're
gonna
gonna run out
see
of
down
bad
the road.
guys.
This is like,
I don't think they're running out of characters. I think they're just pulling these characters out of
not
from
pulling
the deep cuts. You're just like, okay, we're gonna take this character here, and they're gonna have their own movie. They're gonna have their own story.
The problem is that our generation stopped with comic books at a certain time, and it continued on after us, and we never heard of any of these people.
If it's not like the MVP
Like, you
players
heard of
of
Black
the
Adam?
Avengers,
Yeah, we're dealing with B players now. We're
Yeah.
dealing with like you said, second cut, third cut
Yeah.
characters.
So I did hear something about Ant-Man movie. He's gonna go into the realm, and he's gonna pull John Krasinski's character out. He got stuck in there. He's gonna pull him out, and then that's gonna balance out like, hey, there's a character that our generation knows.
You know what's so cool about that, bro? That actually
me
would be
that? Was that
really
you?
cool. But what's really cool thinking about this is that Doctor Strange, must have some way came across that particular Reed Richards. And I have a feeling if they do on the Fantastic Four, how cool would that be if they actually go back to the 60s?
It's talking about that.
Yeah.
Going back to the
That
60s.
would be fucking dope to see that if they make a Fantastic Four but put it in the 1960s vibe.
And
Yeah.
somehow that's the first of the multiverse, and Dr. Richards is going to get stuck there, and they're going to bring him back in.
We'll see. That's all speculation. At
It
this
is all speculations and everything like that. But I'm kind of excited for the next Marvel movie because it's going to be one of the OGs. It's going to be Thor,
Yeah. I'm worried about that one too. I felt like Thor Ragnarok kind of started to go off the rails a little bit.
I thought you were.
No, I thought that was
you
the better one out of
loved
the
the
group.
I love
movie.
the movie. I'm afraid of
Why
what
would you
they'll.
say that?
Because I'm afraid they're gonna make it.
A comedy.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they're gonna go to Mount Olympus. They're gonna do. They're gonna stretch out the story so thin that.
You seem kind of jaded right now. Are you
Yeah.
okay?
I am. Doctor Strange disappointed me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't.
Yes.
He didn't disappoint me.
Heck yeah.
I feel like
Come to the DC side.
I like how they had to bring in Doctor Strange into the dark arts because he realistically has that side of him in the comic books. He has the third eye. He's been there. So supposedly that's supposed to help him read minds of people.
Yeah, he's supposed to go help him go to the different multi-universes and things like that.
So
Which
he
is going to be
becomes
interesting.
Stronger.
But in the same time, when the ending, when you see
Charlize Theron becomes his love interest.
it's true. But when she she cuts the fucking screen and it's another dimension, and you're just like,
I was really good.
it's good, but you're like, fuck. No fucking. We're gonna go to another fucking multi-universe. And by the way, we only went to 3 multi-universe. I thought we were gonna see more and more and more and shit like that. That's kind of like
You
the
saw
other thing.
Paint-verse,
There was a paint
which
universe.
is the dumbest thing in the world.
No, but
I
if
know
you
it was
actually
meant for just as a joke, but no.
I don't know, but it was cool. That's what I thought we were going to see more of actually going through the different universe and universe
By
and
other,
universe.
it would have been cool to see random cameos of a different superhero or different bad guy. I don't know, like Iron Man floating around just randomly in the sky. Who the hell is this? And then boom, gone. Or Spider-Man. Or just cool to see the levels of other universes with other superheroes. Or ones that we've never seen also. That would have been cool to see. They did all the Illuminati, and that was this. They made Scarlet Witch really strong, and no one could defeat her ever. And if that's the case, then she could have defeated Thanos by herself real quickly.
In all fairness, she was the only individual on Endgame that came close to killing Thanos by herself.
I remember that, yeah. So, going forward, are you excited for the next phase that they're going to go? I mean, are you just kind of off the train? You're like, fuck it. They don't know where they're going to land. Is this going to be like a Game of Thrones where they're just going to keep going and going and going? They're just going to fall short in the end? Or you're just going to still go with the ride?
I'm not even at the station. I'm not even at the station anymore.
Well, that was it. Just one and done.
Well, the problem with Brandon is that he
it's
watched
not one
this
and
movie.
done. It's
This is too soon for him.
I've seen I don't know 8 movies from this, and I've liked one of them, and I've stood 2 of them. It's just I am going to watch the whole series, but damn it, this really made me not want to rush out and do it this summer like I was planning. It made me say, ooh, this is the reason I don't like these movies. It was just too much of and maybe this is what comic book fanboys, and nothing against them or you guys, is just this kind of kitchen sink approach. But to me, I need something structured. I need something that has characters that I give a shit about. And ultimately, I didn't see that here. I really wanted to, but I didn't. And I saw that in Spider-Man. I think that's the biggest problem. I wish that I had hated Spider-Man, because then I would have been not expectations up here for this one.
I'm still in. That's it.
Yeah, you would be, and that's fine.
Ed?
I'm still in. I'm in until it goes all the way to the C-list actors. So I do know Phase 5. So Phase 4 supposedly is setting up the Nets villain, which is Kane the Conqueror at the very end.
Assuming we don't know that for a fact.
There's 2. There's Kane the Conqueror, who he's already been reported to see in
I understand,
Ant-Man,
yeah.
and there's also Beyonder.
But here's the thing.
There's 2 villains.
They established, I want to say Thanos and Captain America, probably. That was going to be the main villain. That was 17 movies in the making. I don't see them doing that here. That's the problem.
I do see them doing that here.
Not by name.
You want to bet it?
Well,
Not by name.
Let's bet it.
If they were going to do it, they should have just... This is the movie to do it.
They did in Loki.
With what?
The last episode of Loki, that was Kane the Conqueror.
Oh, no, I understand that. But
So what else do you want?
I want him to mention it.
You
in this
had to
movie.
have it in this movie, dude. This is the summer blockbuster movie. This is the one movie that actually carries it back from the Spider-Man
you have
movie.
Thor coming up.
Yeah, but this is the dude, multi-universe. This is what we've been dancing around with. This movie should have been fucking been on top of it, man. Fucking Gangnam Style and shit.
I think they built this movie the same time when they did Loki, and that's when they didn't have a villain.
I did read about Elizabeth Olsen after Wanda ended. 2 days later, she started filming this movie. So yeah, I mean,
I think they did it too soon.
Maybe.
it's okay, Sean.
I'm fine.
Okay, it's all right. He's so sad. Looks pretty cool though.
Who wouldn't be when you have expectations up to your freaking eyeballs?
All I
and then
know
you
is
get
they're
maybe
bringing
your
in
ankles.
Yeah, they're bringing in characters of villains that I'm running out of knowledge.
Right. like they're getting the cutting real deep at this point.
Yeah, Beyonder is supposed to be badass, but I don't know him.
Exactly,
King of the Conqueror is
yeah.
the last one I know.
That's all right. We'll get some more what ifs episodes.
I hope they bring back Loki.
Well, Loki's returning for season 2.
Maybe he's the one who's actually causing the whole thing. Oh, that would be great. Loki,
So
the main villain.
he's
again.
like out. He's like there's like what was he at the TVA?
TVA.
The TVA and the multiverse is like two separate things. Totally crazy.
Man, this is so much shit to talk about, man. And that brings us to the end of our review. Now it's time in the podcast where each of the hosts provides a score on the following scale. Eddie,
I'm not there
from
yet. I'm
Earth
looking.
616. Can you provide our scale,
When they
please?
said that, I was like, oh, are they gonna say 909 Earth? But it's supposedly it's really 616 in the comments.
Yeah.
So Eddie from the 616. 0, the perfect movie. You don't need shit to enjoy it. 1, a feel good first cocktail. 2, a happy buzz. 3, an Uber or lifting home. 4, a rough morning watch of shame. 5, blackout, shit face, spring break drunk.
In the multi-universe.
And different universes. Gentlemen, let's start with Jeremy.
So I came in. I had high expectations with this film and everything like that. Benedict wasn't the problem of the film. I think Elizabeth Olsen was fucking amazing in this film. I think she stole the film a lot of ways. And I actually liked the directing style of Sam Raimi, dude. I think he put his horror like genre into this movie, and I wish he would have had a little more control of it, because I think if he didn't have like Disney watching over him, he could have done something fucking huge and something totally just like craziness and just brought it to another level. But it's not the directing style. I think the writing was just kind of like thin, yo. I mean, it showed us everything, but it didn't tell us anything. And I know maybe that's just me being biased, and I probably just want to get a little more information, but could have been an opportunity for this to happen in this movie. It's not the worst Marvel movie, but by all means, it's not the best Marvel movie. It's not even the top 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a 5. It's not a 0, but it's kind of not even like an average movie. So for me, this is a 2.75.
Good call.
Which is a happy buzz, a little out of shot, and a little extra shot. So can I start with Eddie?
Going into this movie, I was excited to see it because it's, Doctor Strange has been going on for a while with other movies, and this was a part 2 that I think everyone was waiting for a while for the Marvel Universe. I also think it fell short with the story. Like, I feel like it dragged ass a little bit. Second part of the movie was really legit, but then at times you saw yourself like, damn, I should have watched WandaVision. Like, I didn't watch all of it. So
I should have watched everything.
So, okay, and I was like, damn, she's really attached to these kids. And she's, but I'm so involved with, all the characters, and I was excited. And towards the end, I was still happy with the outcome, but like, do I count it like what Jeremy said, top 10? Definitely no of Marvel movies. There's been a lot of Marvel movies out there that are way better than this one. I think also, like, at the end of the movie, I was thinking in my head, I was like, this is an average movie. Like, I wasn't thinking this is going to be, I do think it's a movie that's going to be appreciated down the road.
I can see that. But
it's one of those movies that it just almost flies under the radar, and then like, hey, 10 years from now, that wasn't a bad movie. But in the meantime, it still gives me...
I'm still in the present.
I'm still in the present in this universe. And to give my score, dancing around it, I'm trying to give it. I think Jeremy's score is pretty accurate, though. Like, it's an average movie with a little bit below an average movie. So I'm going to give this actually a 3. You're Ubering or lifting home.
All right, I'll go next. I thought that this was a below average movie. I thought this movie was, even in Marvel standards, wasn't even close to perfect. I don't even think it was it missed good. I enjoyed a lot of it. I enjoyed Doctor Strange. I enjoyed Wong. I thought he was fantastic.
He's always great.
I always forget about talking.
But at the end of the day, it didn't hit for me on a lot of cylinders. So I'm going to give it a 3.25.
This is the quickest review I've ever heard.
I know.
Is everything okay?
I'll make this one really, really quick. I wanted to like it. I didn't like it.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Is he sick?
I'm not sure.
Do we want to check on him first? He looked like he was past falling asleep there.
I think he wanted to throw up.
He's throwing up.
I mean,
right
it
now.
wasn't a good movie, but it certainly wasn't throw up worthy.
Did he drink a lot?
No.
Okay, I'm going to start over.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to make this one quick. This is a movie that I really wanted to like, and I couldn't. And I wanted to try to like it, and I just found like I couldn't. So I wanted to be fair and kind of go through looking at other action and comic book and I guess comic book movies. And Wonder Woman, I scored that a 4. I thought this was not as bad as Wonder Woman. And the Zack Snyder Justice League, I scored that as a 4.25. I didn't think it was as bad as Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, thank you.
I thought it was nearly as bad. So I'm not going to do that to this one, but I'm going to put this at a 3.75. So for me, that is what is a 3.7? 3 is I'm Ubering. I'm lifting home. I've got a hangover like crazy. Because I topped it off with a couple too many shots. So 3.75 is what I'm going for.
Wow. Okay. Well, with the combined scores and divided by 4, this gives Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness an average of
3.1875. 3.1875.
That's what I have too.
So the 1 point what?
3.1875.
3.1875.
So this is between Armageddon and It. It's the 40th.
Ooh, this is not as good as Armageddon, but it's better than it. Oh, Sean texted.
Yeah, he said finish without.
Yeah, he said he's finishing.
Man down.
Man down again. Fuck.
And that's 2 this season. That is 2
I
this
really hope
season.
Too much
not-
multi-universe, man. Too much multi-universe fun.
That's Wait.
I mean, as Sean would say, that's about where it should be.
I was about to say that. You took that away from me. My moment, you took that away from
Oh,
me.
Eddie, what were you going to say?
Go for it, Eddie.
I was like, that's about a 3.1875. It's exactly where it should be.
I mean, is it better than Point Break? I don't know. But it certainly was not as bad as Halloween.
It's not a
So
horrible
we'll go
movie.
with
I
that.
definitely recommend everyone watching it and listening to this podcast. Brandon, you want to wrap
do
it up
too.
then?
Yeah. All right. So if you enjoyed our review and are a fan of the podcast, we ask that you please subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. You can also find us on Instagram at The Gentleman Podcast, or visit our website at thegentlemanpodcast.com. Or if you want to reach out, you can leave us an email at the hosts or at hosts at thegentlemanpodcast.com. At thegentlemanpodcast.com. I think we got that wrong. It's at the.gentlemanpodcast
That's
for
right.
Instagram. So make sure that with the dot means a lot. Anyway, thank you guys for listening on this special theatrical release episode, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. We just broke the multi-universe right there.
I mean, we did.
So is Sean still in the...
I think that's our best one yet.